I still remember the day I got down on one knee, my hands trembling, my heart racing with excitement. I had been planning this moment for months, carefully choosing the ring, rehearsing the words, imagining the look on her face when I asked Emily to marry me. She smiled that day, her eyes sparkling with what I thought was happiness, and said yes. In that instant, the world felt right. I was about to marry the woman I loved more than anything, the woman I trusted completely. Fast forward 6 months, and the excitement of wedding plans had consumed every aspect of my life. Invitations, venues, floral arrangements, seating charts. I handled it all, wanting everything to be perfect for Emily. But there were moments, small red flags, subtle things that nagged at the back of my mind. Emily had become distant, distracted, less excited than she should have been. At first, I brushed it off as pre-wedding stress, telling myself it was normal. But the unease never truly left me. It was during a quiet Sunday afternoon, scrolling through social media, that I saw it. The photos. Emily, laughing with a man I didn't recognize, arms wrapped around each other at what was clearly her bachelorette party. The captions were playful, teasing, nothing too obvious, but the intimacy in their smiles, the way he held her, the way she leaned into him, it was enough. My stomach dropped, my hands shook. I opened every picture, every post, searching for an explanation, some way to convince myself I was imagining it. But the truth stared back at me from every frame. Emily had crossed a line I didn't even know existed. I tried to reach her calmly. Emily, can we talk about these photos? I asked later that evening, my voice steady but my chest tight with tension. She laughed, brushing it off with a casual, "Oh, those? It was just fun, don't worry about it. He's just a friend, you know how it is." But I could feel the lie in her words, the way her eyes avoided mine, the subtle twitch of her smile that didn't reach her eyes. My mind raced. How could the person I trusted most betray me like this, hours before our wedding? How could she risk everything we had planned, everything we had shared? By the time I got to the rehearsal dinner, my thoughts had twisted into a sharp, unrelenting focus. I watched her, laughing and joking with her friends, unaware, or pretending to be unaware, of the storm brewing inside me. Every cheer, every toast, every playful glance she gave him in the background was a dagger to my chest. It wasn't just a betrayal, it was a declaration. The wedding, the life we had imagined together, was already over in my mind. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in the guest room of my apartment, staring at the ceiling, replaying every detail from the photos over and over in my head. Emily's laughter, the way she leaned into him, the careless touch that was meant to be private but now was shared with the world. I had imagined so many nights of our own intimacy, our shared mornings, the way we would grow old together. But now all of that felt like it had been erased with a single, reckless act. By morning, I knew I couldn't confront her in anger, not yet. I needed clarity, a plan, a way to handle this without losing myself completely. I went through the photos again, examining every angle, every interaction, trying to find context that might justify what I saw. There wasn't any. The truth was unavoidable. She had chosen someone else, even if temporarily, over the commitment she had made to me. I called my closest friend, Mark, my voice low and tense. "Mark, I don't know what to do. I saw the photos, Emily and some guy at her bachelorette. The wedding, it can't happen now." He was silent for a moment, then said, "John, you have to protect yourself. Don't let her manipulate you or guilt you into going through with something that's already broken." His words were calm, practical, grounding. I hadn't realized how much I needed that. Later that afternoon, I asked Emily to meet me at the cafe where we had our first date. I wanted a neutral place, somewhere we could speak without the tension of the wedding looming over us. When she arrived, she smiled brightly, unaware, or willfully unaware, of the emotional wreckage I had become. "Hey, you look good," she said, sliding into the seat opposite me. I forced a calm smile, but inside, I was ready for the confrontation. "I saw the photos," I said simply. No preamble, no hesitation. Her smile faltered, the laughter fading from her eyes. "John, it's not what you think. It was just..." I held up my hand. "No. I don't want excuses. I don't want lies. I saw everything. I know exactly what happened. There was a pause, a long, suffocating silence that hung between us, thick with the weight of betrayal. Her usual confidence wavered for the first time in months. John, please, I can explain. It's complicated. I shook my head. No. The wedding isn't happening. It ended the moment I saw the photos. Everything we were planning, everything we were promising each other, it's over. The look in her eyes shifted from annoyance to shock, as if for the first time, she understood that the consequences of her actions were unavoidable. She tried to reach across the table, but I pulled back, standing up. Don't touch me. The Emily I loved is gone. The woman in those photos, she's not the one I'm marrying. I'm done. With that, I walked out of the cafe, feeling a strange mixture of heartbreak and relief. The betrayal was raw, but for the first time in days, I felt a flicker of control return to me. I would not be a victim of her recklessness. The wedding was over, yes, but I had my dignity intact. Over the next few days, I started untangling the web of lies and pretenses that had been built around me. I informed the wedding planner, the caterers, and the venue coordinator that the event was cancelled. Each call felt like reclaiming a little piece of my life, like I was rewriting the ending that Emily had tried to force on me. Friends reached out, offering support, and while their sympathy was comforting, it was my own clarity that mattered most. Then came the photos fallout. Emily tried to reach me through texts, emails, even calls, each one more desperate than the last. John, we need to talk, she pleaded in one message. It was just a moment, it didn't mean anything. I didn't reply. I refused to be drawn back into her world of excuses. Every plea she sent only reminded me why I had made the decision to step away. The wedding wasn't just over. It had been over the moment I realized the person I thought I knew was someone else entirely. A week later, at a friend's gathering, I overheard whispers about Emily, the Bachelorette, the photos. The whispers weren't cruel, they were just observations, but I felt a strange sense of peace. The universe had revealed her true colors without me having to fight, without me having to confront her further. I no longer needed closure from her. The validation came from within, from the knowledge that I had recognized betrayal before it had become a lifetime commitment. It was during one quiet evening, alone in my apartment, that the true weight of relief hit me. I could finally breathe, finally think about the life I wanted without someone else's deceit clouding my future. I realized that while heartbreak had been sharp, it had also been protective. The person who had stood by me, laughed with me, and shared dreams with me, Emily, was no longer the same. And the life I had imagined with her, though beautiful in my mind, was never going to be real. Months later, I met someone new. Her name was Sarah, bright, honest, and unpretentious. The connection was natural, effortless, a stark contrast to the tension and betrayal of the past. We laughed together, shared meals, went on spontaneous weekend trips. Simple joys I had forgotten were possible. With Sarah, I discovered trust again, an intimacy that was mutual and genuine. The scars from Emily's deception remained, but they served as reminders to recognize true value in a partner, to never settle for someone who could betray me so casually. Looking back, I realized that the wedding being cancelled was not the end. It was the beginning of something far better. Betrayal had exposed weakness in her, but in me, it had unearthed strength, resilience, and clarity. Emily's choices defined her, not me. I had stepped away, protected myself, and ultimately, discovered a path to real love, built on honesty, respect, and shared dreams. The wedding was over before it began, but in walking away, I had truly won.